Welcome to Biggest Geekus. We are your hosts. I am Joe.
And I'm Randy.
This is episode 142 of the show, and the date is Tuesday, June. I was going to say January. Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. We are getting a better handle, at least I am, on Rumble. So hopefully this transition was much smoother, and there's a very little lead time in there for you guys over on the Rumble side. How you doing?
Me?
I'm doing Randy.
Great. I'm doing great, man.
Yes. I'm not talking to myself. Jose, how am I doing?
I'm looking around, everybody. I heads up my butt. Just being off business, while it's fabulous, takes some getting used to. I know it sounds like first world problems, but dude, I'll tell everybody here because I told Joe I was bragging. I got my first riding lawnmower this past weekend, thanks to my homie Greg T. Hooked me up, and I loved it. So I got to use it right off the bat since he brought it over. So yeah, it's much better than my stupid push mower. I had a good week. Got a game on Saturday, was it? Yeah, I gamed on Saturday. Mr. Larry Elliott piped in through the internet. It was pretty neat.
Yeah. Any of this lawnmower, new cool lawnmower stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The rider.
Yeah.
Like for your yard, your property, it makes sense. For mine, I've seen people use riding lawnmowers in my size yard though. It's really weird.
Oh, doodle squatch. I wish. He says 0-turn mower. No. This is my first mower ever. I can't believe it at 56. You would think I'd
your first riding lawnmower.
I know. I keep saying mower, Joe. Is like, it doesn't sound impressive when you say I've had plenty of push mowers. My first ride. I would love a 0-turn, but my boy got
too expensive just for personal use, really.
Yeah, but I love
unless you have a really, really big yard.
Yeah. Well,
they're really expensive.
I thought about it. When I was younger, there's a period where I really hated mowing the yard and other yards, which I did for a while. Then I liked it, and then I stopped because I got money and I paid somebody to do my big yard with a 0-turn mower. And now I'm thinking, man, that's one option in case I retire. I may become a lawnmower dude. That'd be kind of fun.
Right. I mean, you didn't pay a whole lot for it, considering, and
great deal.
You can make your money back easily, and that's the only reason you get a 0-turn is to do it professionally or just as a side hustle, and then you can make your money back.
My neighbor's got a 0-turn. I think all he does is his yard, but his yard's a little bit bigger than mine, so.
I'd say that's still not worth it, but it's his money.
No, they're pricey. So looks like we got quite a crowd. Flatey 1, Doodle Squatch, glad to see them. Ryan David, Man of War, Neighbor of the Beast. Hope the Beast is not doing well. The Crafting Gamer. Who else is in the house? Iron Man, of course. Hardcore. Darth Theic. Patrick and Martinson. Yeah. Homies are in the house. They're going to talk about Talking Todd. Sweet. Talking about dragons tonight, baby.
Yes. You missed the first 4 minutes and 22 seconds.
It was the best part.
Mr. Tonka Todd. Shame on you.
I have to go back and rewatch it because it was the best part. We always put our best foot forward. Everybody else is like, oh crap, that's their best.
The best part of the stream is always the first 3 minutes.
Always. Oh, so we played that ICRPG game, Warp Shell, and had a pretty good time. That game is I can't stop. I can't get away from the Gonzo, man. But it's fun. I enjoy it. It's a fun game to play around with. I don't think it's got a lot of meat on its bone. And for our dungeon master, Ben, he likes a lighter game, and he does a heck of a job, man. It's really fun. But I know that for you, Joe, and some of the other players, there's only so long you can play it because it's just not not much for you to. You got to dig the role playing, and you do get better. But it's in bits, so
fewer steps, slower. Well, even Horde Wars, right?
Yep.
That's you get less when on level ups,
right?
And there's only 12 of them,
right?
You start out a bit higher than a first level D&D character would be, D20 character.
I think you're kind of close to each character.
And first, Yeah, power wise, I would agree.
Yeah.
Then I don't know about 12th level because we didn't get there. I got to
got halfway, dude.
Got to 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get to play at 6th, but played up to 6th, and I could see how you get tougher. But I can't wait to have the full set of rules, and then we explore the whole thing.
Yeah,
we'll get a better look at it.
Ian Blackwell was trying to hook us up at Cabin Con and let us all see he was doing super fast leveling. Every adventure was a level. Hey, Gary D20, glad you're in, brother. Yeah, that he kind of speeded through the levels fast, but I enjoyed what I played. I only played a couple of sessions, and I loved the crap out of it. And I know you were liking it because characters start out able to do stuff. They're not just a bump.
Yeah, I understand the attraction to Zero to Hero, but it does get old to me.
Yeah, I think part of it.
You like to be able to step out there and be effective.
I think part of it is, Joe, for you and for me, I enjoy all levels of DMing. I can DM 1st level, 8th level, 27th level. I don't really care. But
right.
I understand why players like you play the old guard, dude, and some are different, some like it, but you've done it, man. Have you said before, you've done levels 1 through 5 how many times? You know?
There's no way to count.
I mean, a fireball's cool, but I mean, it's a nice bump, but to you, it's like, I'm just starting to get a little tiny taste of power. Joe doesn't really get excited until double digits. He's like, all right, now we're starting to get into territory I haven't played a whole bunch.
Well, and it's not power for the sake of being powerful, having a powerful character. It's more just having options other than, swing and miss, swing and miss, swing and miss, or you cast your 2 spells and you're done. Effectively, sure, you can do other stuff. You can still play. There's still playability there, but options are limited. And when you get into past the first few levels or several levels, depending.
Yeah.
If it's a full D20 system with 20 plus levels, first several levels, then you get to territory where you you have more options than just grinding.
Well, and the game gets interesting. And Ryan David says, yes, but levels 1 through 5 are your backstory. Forget about that 12-page novella you type. Yeah, I mean, when you think of it,
I agree.
Good. But I sometimes find it a grind. I'm trying in Hyperborea to just give experience as we play, which we need to play. But I think I'm going to try to be pretty honest with the experience points. Plus, I'm using a lot of the optional ways to get more experience because I want you guys to level up. I want to run a lot of the modules. So you guys will probably level pretty fast in Hyperborea. If not, I'm just going to say, level up. Or pick a certain amount of experience points. 8,000, really? Yes.
Yeah, I can. The experience point shenanigans from D&D and its clones with the millions. Well, by the time you get up to the upper end of the game, is a bit tedious. And as a DM, I can understand there were discussions back in the day about being more of an accountant because of all the things you got to keep track of.
Yeah.
Checking boxes and whatnot.
We can talk a little bit about that tonight, maybe, if we get through the dragon thing. I got a bunch of stuff to say about dragons.
There's a lot of stuff here, dude. We might have to break it off.
No.
And make it even. Break it off and make it even.
People, get your drink. This is time for dinner. Get you some dinner. Get comfortable. Take a potty break if you have to. Settle in. We're going to talk about dragons, baby. I think this is going to be our last Monster Mash, and then I want us to do a ranking at some point. So it's up to you. I mean, if you want to keep doing Monster Mashes forever, I was just thinking we'd do, this is kind of where as I looked at the monsters, I'm like, I feel like I've done all the ones that I want to do as far as like, these are must-have creatures. I have others that I like, but I mean, are you wanting to dive into Mind Flayers and Beholders and I don't know.
I don't know if I think categorically, and then we maybe can pick, like we could talk about aberrations or just the strange monsters like the Mind Flayer and the OTF. And we could even subdivide. Let's say it's like the OTUG, OTUF, however you pronounce that crazy name,
Mhm.
the garbage monster, right? The tentacled garbage monster in for D&D. It lives in dungeons or in cisterns or things like that.
You see audio again.
There's all kinds of monsters like that scrape up all the gunk in the dungeon.
Yeah.
If you let them.
Oh, Rand David grill. That's another one. Grill. I love grills. And dude,
right, so all those bottom feeders in the dungeon, so to speak, that could be a subject. And throwing the oozes in there,
dude,
slimes and oozes and molds and stuff.
Lords of Madness from 3.5. That book is fabulous. Lots of good stuff. Gelatinous Cube, Malachi. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, they're naming the cool daddies. Clean up those things. Puddings. Yeah. The Roomba of a dungeon. Right, Malachi. Oh, so yeah, I gamed. Did you get any gaming in this weekend or not, Joe? Were you working?
Nah.
Just taking care of your birds and your dogs.
And the house. Worked really hard. The wife has some medical issues, and the house got really out of hand. So I spent the last several days either on my off days or working as well, really working up a sweat, getting the house back into some sort of order. So
we could take our man just inspired me. He said, oozes and moles, how to use them creatively. Maybe we could focus on some of the otter creatures, how you can bring them into your campaign. Do you just do more like unique things with them instead of talking about through the additions? Yeah. So that could be it.
Yes, sir, Ryan. She was just telling me, she says, good juju her way, Joe. Yeah. She's very appreciative.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could put, what if you put a gelatinous cube in a trebuchet and flung it over a castle wall into, or oozes and puddings, things like that.
Dude, that would be sick.
You might have to say that they'll take damage when they hit the ground or whatever, but
why?
Oh, because it's not that much different than throwing a rock on them. They're going to take damage.
Yeah. Oh, David Will's got a good idea. I'm sure he does this.
What you do though, you could have reimagining various monsters. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Let me write this down. That's what I do.
If you have part of your siege engine, instead of flinging it, which would be cool, especially if it was like, let's say your siege engine was a giant head, like carved out of stone or made out of wood, and it has a gigantic nose, and then the slimes and molds and oozes come out of the nose. So you could even make it like explosive, so it has some kind of sound, like a cannon sound or whatever, and then it explosively comes out of the giant nose holes into the castle. It would be a siege engine. Or you'd either fling it or it would just fall out.
Or black pudding out of the statue's butt.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
right.
What you'd have is a statue. When it's facing, it would be on the top of your siege engine tower.
Yeah.
If it's the face that's facing, then the oozes fall out of the nose or maybe the mouth, right?
Yeah.
And they just ooze over the walls onto the defenders. And then what you can have a crank and it turns. You have all the cobbles at the bottom of it, a big giant crank, and it's turning, and then the black pudding comes out of the butthole. Yeah, there you go.
Dude, Ryan David, I can't believe I've never thought of this trap. A gelatinous cube and a 60-foot pit. Yeah, and you make it's 60 foot deep, but it's the size of the cube.
Right. 10 by 10.
10 by 10.
Well, not the third 10. That's 60, but
10
by 10 by 60.
Well, the cube is.
And it'd be hard to tell. It'd be hard to tell it's there at the bottom.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
50 feet down.
Yeah.
It looks like just junk at the bottom of a pit.
Who is this? Armin says we found a green slime trapped in a corked brown jug. Fun and creative one-shot missile. Yeah, buddy. I got lots of Joe. I have a great green slime story. And I think it's in a module. I think it's in was that in what was that?
Village of Hamlet?
No, I thought it was
in Village or was it in
White Plume? The one we tried to.
It might be either
I can't remember.
Temple. Isn't it Temple?
I don't know, but there was a place where the water was, I feel like it was White Plume Mountain, where there was water about knee deep down one hallway, and there was a pile of green slime, and I'm not sure. I think the adventurer said the green slime was above them, but I put it under the water. That killed the whole party, by the way. Remember that? You
That's
lost.
why I had a hard time finding it.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be on the ceiling.
I know.
Not automatic damage like it would be if you just walk through a pool, you weirdo.
You're all dead, dude. That was great. I loved it. Good times.
Because if it's on the ceiling, you have to make like a to-hit roll or a saving throw.
Like I said, there was a time where my goal was to murder the players. So Darth says, yes, that's White Plume Mountain. I thought so. But
yes, Tonka, thank you.
Oh, it's under the water of the module. Nice.
Tonka Todd says, hey, folks, don't forget to show your support by smashing the like button. Bunkin. The bunkin. Well,
Tonka Todd's right. Do what he say.
Hit that like button. Head on over to Rumble and throw us a rant where you can throw us some cash as well if you like.
Hey, Death Dog's in the house. He's over at
Death
Rumble.
Dog.
And Malachi says, should have you, that's what you get a 10-foot pole for, Joe. Poke that water.
Yeah. 10-foot poles.
I'll be right back.
Sorry. A unitasker. That's really the only good thing is for us detecting certain kinds of traps like that. Otherwise, it's. I know that you can just have it on your character sheet and say it's in your back pocket or in your backpack or whatever, when it really couldn't be. It's 10 feet long. So try taking that in down the hallway in a dungeon. It's really unwieldy. So I figured I made this thief up that had a collapsible 10-foot pole where he could, put it together when he needed to, and had a big like wooden hand at the end, just to be funny. And I made all that up and said, this is my thief. He has that 10-foot pole, and he's the one who walks through the green slime. So yay me. Because after making that and saying, as soon as we get into a dungeon, I'm going to pull out that thing and use it and all that, I forgot I even had it. You remember that thief I made with the collapsible 10-foot pole? I had to practically, twist your arm behind your back to let you let me have it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have it in the player's handbook, so you can't have it. Okay, whatever.
Joe and his whatever. I can't believe it doesn't say there's not an Uzi in there either. Joe says, how come I can't have it?
Okay, so it's not as big of a
stretch. It's not there.
Right.
No, that's not true. No, I remember that. That would make sense, actually, if they could make those. So, David Gal reminded me I need to send him the map. I thought I sent it all off, but maybe I didn't. I've got it. So the map is going to be coming, maybe during the show.
Yes. Flady says 36 Chambers of Shaolin, also known as Master Killer, and I think it has a couple of other names, had a king pole. Do you mean long pole? King pole with a hand on the end. Yes, I think that is where I drew the inspiration. Yes, long. You meant long, not king.
Long.
They're similar words, really. That's where I got my inspiration for having the hand down the end, because had been one of my favorite. I don't think it's been supplanted. 36 Chambers of Shaolin has been my favorite kung fu flick for a long time. That and Half a Loaf of Kung Fu. Early Jackie Chan.
Oh, I'm going a little far back. I've been so long since I've watched a lot of kung fu movies. I have to go back. I remember the name, The Seven Deadly Venoms, but I was very young then, so it may not be that good.
Right, Seven Deadly Venoms. Is it 7? Or is it? I'm thinking there's a one with 5.
Is it the 5 Deadly Venoms? Okay, maybe it's 5.
It might be 5, might be 7. I don't know.
Dude,
it's been a long time.
Iron Man's a DM after my own heart. Last night, my party ran into a hasted golem. That's correct, sir.
Oh, what a ringer!
That's how you do it. That's beautiful. That's how.
Oh, sure. Which one gets flesh golems are hasted when you hit them with lightning?
I think it's a stone golem. Some
so
golem.
What you do is you just have a trap set, and when the order is when someone intrudes, you punch the button, you get zapped with electricity, and now you're hasted.
I think lightning heals the flesh golem, but I don't know. Tonka Todd said 7 swords of the masters. So
I've never heard of that one. I'll have to look
I'm
that
sure
up.
it's very kung fu juicy. So,
Is that anything like the Magnificent Seven in kung fu movie form?
I don't know.
Seven swords.
Seven swords of swinging. I am looking. I'm going to send David Will an email while we talk here, because I have the map about which he has requested, because I need my adventure to be done. Let's see here. Let's see the map.
Okay. I'm seeing an anime.
There's an anime?
Seven Swordsmen of the Master looks like some kind of anime. Seven Swords. It's Seven Swords or Seven Swordsmen?
Seven Swords.
That's the
Seven Swords.
yeah. Although the Magnificent Seven was a Western remake of an old samurai movie called 13 Ronin. Yes, that is true. All right. Well, that's cool. Kung Fu movies. That's another geek. That is geek adjacent. If there ever was a thing that was geek adjacent.
Yes.
All right. So, do we want to jump on into our? We only have 9 people on right now.
Let's do it. Dragons will bring them in, baby.
Better.
Dragons are
Let's
awesome.
see how many. Looks like we only have.
Rumble, we got Death Dog and I. We're chatting it up.
Well,
can't tell.
According to the eyeball, there it's 7. So maybe just not many people are participating.
Yeah, it's possible.
In the chat, that is. All right.
Woo!
So
show on Oriental Adventures. That would be fun.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I would have to get some sort of appropriate clothing for that.
Yes, very appropriate. So
well, I have a robe.
Oh, cool.
With a dragon on it.
Nice. Well,
but I don't think anybody wants to see me in a bathrobe.
Oh, I do. I think it'd be hot.
Alrighty then.
You'd be sweating, dude.
Move
very hot.
Along.
Oh man. Start them dragons up, Joe. Let's do it.
Dragons. We're going to talk about D&D dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to old school, old D&D. There's they had the big 6: white, black, green, blue, red, and gold.
Yep. I'm going to present. My presentations are prepared tonight, Joe.
Yeah. So they didn't have X number of chromatic and X number of metallic.
No.
They just had the 6.
In fact,
if
you look at them here, there they are. White, black, green, blue, red, all the chromatics, and then the golden. Not the gold. The golden. All the breath weapons are pretty standard. Cold, acid, chlorine gas, and so on, as everybody would expect. 2 types, basically, or 3 types: cone, cloud, and line. It does say it's peculiar that damage of breath weapon is not really noted at all. They don't tell you the damage of the breath weapon. It says they can use it but 3 times per day, and you roll randomly to determine. You roll 2 6-sided die. A score of 6 or less indicates the dragon will bite, but a 7 or better indicates it will breathe. So it's a random how it acts, as a suggestion anyway. And they had 3 categories. They had what they call them: small. Is that what it is? Number of dice and size. 20% will be small. 20% very large. And those are the age categories. Only 6. Which, keep a note on that, because as we go through the edition, this changes dramatically.
Okay. Scroll over, because there's a column that looks like value of hit dice and breath weapon.
Yes. Oh, I missed the word. Okay, I stand corrected. And breath weapon. So I assume that would mean damage, and they do clarify. So you're right. So it is the hit points that they have. And if you look under subdual, which I do want to talk more about it, they give an example here of trying to subdue a very old 11 hit dice red dragon, and that it breathes on them 66 damage. So a very old
has 11 hit dice,
6 points per die.
6, Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, I thought it was really interesting that they used a ratio. So when you compare its percentage of hit points, if you try to subdue a dragon, you just state that's what you're doing. And then every time you damage it, if it's taken 12%, the first round, if it takes 12% of its hit points, the DM rolls. If I roll 12% or under, then the dragon is subdued. If not, he keeps fighting. So
66 hit points does not sound like a lot, but when you're only rolling a d6 as a character,
yep.
Average damage is 3.5. It's going to take you a lot of hits, and it's doing a lot more damage to you, considering it can do breath weapon of 66, and you probably have less than that.
Yeah, well, we'll read the example, right? If you read the example closely, it says the dragon. So if you read, let me do the whole thing here because it's kind of interesting.
Right. I mean, the breath weapon damage goes down as the dragon is damaged in this example, right?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't say. So I'm assuming not, because it says, no, it doesn't. A very old dragon, 3 fighters creep in to strike to subdue. All 3 hits scoring 2, 3, and 6 points, or 11 points, ratioed over 66, which the dragon has. It's 17%. He checks. The dragon is not subdued. A check is then made to see whether he will bite or use his breath. The result indicates breath. The attackers strike again, and once all hit for 12 points. The dragon breathes, as none make their saving throws, which is pretty common. The attackers are killed for 66 points of damage from dragon fire. Subsequently, the referee rolls a 1 on the percentile dice, indicating that had the attacker survived, they would have subdued the dragon.
Well, they're doing subdual damage, which is different from regular damage,
let's
right?
Look at that. An attack to subdue rather than to kill, but this intent must be announced before melee. When intent to subdue is announced, hits scored upon the dragon are counted as subduing rather than killing points. Correct.
So if you're attacking the dragon normally, and then it breathes on you, I believe the damage goes down as their actual hit points go down.
That it does in other editions of the game, but that is not clarified in here.
Right.
Because if you look back at that table, I didn't even see the for some reason I read right past the breath weapon statement. It just says value of hit dice and breath weapon. So maybe not.
I guess so. Yeah.
And the dragon did take points of damage in the very first round, and he lost initiative the second round. So notice he took a grand total of 23 damage, but still breathed for 66. So that makes dragons pretty boss in old D&D.
Yep.
They can have 1 hit point and still breathe on you for 50 plus.
Yeah. Right. And considering hit points in old D&D, you have to be really high level for you to have more than that.
Yeah.
To be able to take that.
I thought so.
Well, if you make your save, you may be safe.
Yeah.
But even saving 33 points of damage is going to kill a good swath of characters.
Yeah. Flady says, I never played OD&D. I haven't either. Well, that's not true. I played a version of it, a white box variant. But I'm liking the simplicity of the layouts. Yeah, the thing is, the only drawback, if you get the actual booklets on PDF, unless you got $3,000-$4,000 laying around to buy a white box set, which I don't know if you want to play then. The rules assume chainmail. It says that at the beginning, which can be a bit of a drawback, but that's not really a big deal because a lot of us have a lot of your ideas for D&D hold true in the OD&D, but there's a few different technicalities. Another thing that's very interesting, because think about subdual. We didn't do much of that. Was that more because I didn't like it because I never liked subduing dragons, or was it because you guys didn't think that was a good move?
Well, I guess most of the time we just figured it'd be better just to kill it. If you're just doing the same amount of damage, and you're just calling it subdual damage.
Yeah.
And if they don't go down, they can still kill you. It's just the risk versus reward. So if you were tasked with bringing a dragon in alive, then yes, you would do the subdual thing because that's your job. But if you're going there to get its stuff or whatever, well, then you got to kill it. Subduing it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, when you subdue a dragon, it can become your pet, essentially. I can't remember what happens after you subdue it.
They'll look for a chance to kill you, but look at the value of subdued dragon. This is interesting. Subdued dragons can be sold in the open market, going out of existence in the game. I thought that was very interesting. So they're out of the game when you sell them, from 500 to 1,000 gold pieces per hit point. Thus, a red dragon could be worth up to 66,000 GPs. Also, is that experience points? Because I would think so. Right? There's a lot of experience.
A good argument can be made for that.
But I guess maybe only when you adventure. You roll a d6 to see what it's worth. So a 1 would be a 5, a 2 would be a 6. Now it says, of course, the character or characters who subdue the dragon could keep it in their own service or sell it to other players for whatever they could get. A subdued dragon will remain in that state until such a time as an opportunity presents itself to escape or kill its master. But as long as the master is in a commanding position, it will not attempt either. Yeah, that's I think that's what turned you guys off, because you knew that I would be having it trying to get away or murder you in your sleep. So
yeah, that would be annoying. It's bad enough when you know you've got followers that are likely going to be chaotic evil and will stab you in the back.
Or lycanthropes from last week.
Yeah.
What is up, Immortal Rising? Can't wait for your book, dude. Ryan David says, we have to remember that now, especially in newer groups, and I'm being kind here, dragons are commonplace. They're everywhere. Everyone slays them. They're supposed to be rare, ominous, and lethal. I agree. And that's one way to think of them, and I like it that way. Yep. Our man. Subdue young dragons and raise them for sale later. Dragon Ranch. Come to my Dragon Ranch. They did give you a chart. You guys probably saw it. There's a chart for elemental damage that dragons will take. Let me see if I can find it here. No, this is the wrong way. Right here. So if you attack a white dragon with a water attack, it's -1. And this is based on damage. So -1 damage, fire +1, lightning +1, earth -1. So you can read all that crap. Yeah. That was kind of interesting. I did take a good look at I noticed the percent talking. I used to think about that a lot, but for example, let's find this here. It's going back up. I'm trying not to go too fast, but
I think it's trying to limit the intelligent magic using dragons. Most of them are beasts.
Yeah.
The rest of them, most of them. It looks like, what does it say here?
25% for a white dragon to be a talker. If he doesn't talk, he can't cast spells. 60% to catch him sleeping. Just so you know, I never rolled that.
No.
I hated that. My dragons do not sleep. But notice a golden dragon.
In more recent versions of the game, as soon as you step 1 foot within the threshold of a dragon's den, there are a lot of, if you use certain rules, they're automatically, you're right there.
I like this better. I think as I look back, there's not just charming, but it gives players even a more fighting chance. As you'll see, OD&D dragons, on first blush, I mean, if you look at their stats compared to what you're used to seeing, they don't seem like much.
That's just when you compare it to OD&D characters who have few hit points, and you always do a D6 on a hit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just the way it worked.
So, like, white dragons don't have any chance to cast spells. Blacks have 5. Green have. This is if they talk. There's this percentage chance they can cast spells, and the red dragons at most could cast 1st through 3rd. But golden dragons could employ up to 6 level spells, which were maximum in this game. They're only dragons which are lawful. Yeah, so they were the good guys. They're not likely to kill you unless you're just being an a-hole.
It looks like all gold dragons are employ magic, according to this. Right?
What's that again?
All gold dragons are magic using.
Correct, 100%. And they cast up to 6 level spells. So and if you attack a sleeping dragon, you be attack with a free melee round +2 on your hit dice for chance of hitting. But you know what?
But on the other hand, they are lawful.
Yes.
They are good. They are the good dragons.
I mean, attacking any dragon while asleep. But yeah, the lawful dragons are good. You're unlikely to fight the golds. I mean, it's always, I've always had a dream of having a chaotic evil gold dragon, or one that's had got a helm of alignment change or a ring of alignment change. And you have to try to, you want to defeat him. It'd be more interesting if you faced him as a friend first, he was an ally, and then it happened to him. And then I want to defeat him, but I really just want to help him. That would be kind of fun and really challenging. Flighty One has mentioned a book, the Draconomicon, which they had it for both second edition, which I thought it's been years since I've read it, but I remember thinking it was okay. The third edition Draconomicon, hands down, the best dragon book. If you can ever get it, buy it. It is fabulous.
Well, only because it takes a monster that's already kind of OP and takes it to 11.
Yeah, it does.
12, maybe 15.
Yeah. If you put a party,
add mixture for the breath weapon, automatically know that you're in your lair,
maximize breath weapon. Yeah, it's nightmarish. That's third edition talk. Yeah, so I'm going to do this throughout the editions. I got a comparative study we're going to do. That's interesting. Tonka Todd says this about the gold. Oh, 90 on eBay, Flighty says. Okay. I don't know if it's worth 9. I would say it's worth 90. That's a lot of money to drop for a book, but probably, depending on how much you're going to use it. It's a beautiful book, too, and it's a good read. It's for third edition. Tonka Todd says gold dragons are as good as a selfish, ego-driven hoarder of stolen treasure can be good. That's a way to play them. They may struggle.
It is. Are we sure that they stole the treasure?
Right. Maybe they were given it because
they are lawful. I don't think they would steal.
I think you could take that interpretation and just say you could take that away. But I like the idea of golden dragons being your paladins of the dragon people, of the dragon creatures. They're not going to screw you for and
they're going to be rare. They're not you're going to run into the low end dragons, and they're going to be beasts. They're not going to be smart. They're not going to throw magic around.
Right.
Your gold dragons are, to me, one of the things I remember thinking was, why do they make it good? You're not going to fight it unless you're playing an evil campaign, which is kind of weird, but people do that.
Darth makes a good point. He says, what you do is build the dragon from the Draconomicon, then give it 15 or 20 levels in any class that would be useful. That sounds reasonable. Darth is talking very reasonable. That should be a good encounter for a 4th level party. Yeah, I think gold. Right. I think that's an interpretation Tonka Todd could roll with. That'd be an interesting world.
They amassed that hoard over their lifespan, right? By bad guys coming in there and trying to kill them, and then they kept their stuff.
Yep. R.S. Patrick Demo says they are worshipped as greater beings and given tons of tribute, most likely in exchange for protection.
Yeah.
But Tonka Todd says, watch out for those ghetto dragons. They'll beat you up and take your lunch money. But to compare, which is interesting, and I'm going to do this to all the editions, I'm going to take the oldest, largest. So in these rules here for OD&D, just so you know what I did, bear with me, don't let yourself get too crazy with my quick. They have 5 to 7 hit dice for a white. Okay, so 7 hit dice dragon, and I made it large, which. Oh, what does that do? The value of the hit dice as well as the value we subject to the maturity of the dragon. Where does it say maturity? Okay.
Right there.
Yeah, but it doesn't say, I don't get what large. Oh, 7 hit dice is large. 5 is small, 6 is medium, 7 is large. If I'm incorrect.
It's very large.
Yes, notice there are a range. I used very large. A range of 3 in the 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
11. So small, or medium, large, very large. I think that's what it is. Either way, I took the biggest dude, the oldest dude, very old, 6 points per die, right? And so you're looking at, for that. Oh, I miscalculated because I did 8 points. It's 6 points per die. He would only have 42 hit points, and his breath weapon would be 42. Now, that doesn't sound that tough. And when you compare him to dragons later on, he really is not that tough. For most parties, though, that would be an hellacious fight for even a party of 7th or 8th level characters in OD&D. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, even the oldest white dragon, 7 hit die, largest, oldest white dragon would be tough.
Yeah.
Even though they don't have that many hit dice.
No.
And even if they weren't spellcasters or intelligent. I mean, that's
the
you said, what was it?
The breath weapon alone.
35 hit points.
Yeah.
35 hit points is going to, and how often can they use their breath weapon?
42 hit points, and they can
42.
use their breath weapon 3 times a day, but you have to roll higher than 7 or higher in 2d6 to use it if you're following the rules. That's not true. Are you talking about white dragons? Dar says even in 2E you had at most 10 hit die. Oh, for the characters, correct. So yeah, true. So yeah, what the whites would be tough. The black.
There are exceptions. The
In
monk.
OD&D. OD&D. Oh, in second
He
edition.
said 2E. He said 2E.
Oh, monks could get like.
Oh no, I don't know about second edition. First edition, the monk and the druid both could go over 10 hit dice.
Right.
I believe it was the monk
Fighter
and the
was
druid.
stuck at 9. Didn't the wizard go to a 10 as well?
11.
11.
They got 11.
Yeah, but it
So
doesn't
there
matter.
were some exceptions.
Yeah, true.
But it's 11 D4s, so it's more like 6 hit dice.
Right. 66. Yeah, but so that many hit points and breath weapon, it was pretty solid. OD&D was. I have a new respect for the dragons, and I actually learned a lot of new things about dragons in the old game or several new things that I had forgotten, I guess. So, yeah, not bad.
You said there was a thing that you didn't know.
I'm coming to that. That's not in OD&D.
Okay.
It's in first edition, which surprised me because I tend to be on top of that poop.
Right. So we didn't really play this version of D&D.
Not really.
Ours was the next that we started in. The BECME encyclopedia.
Right. We technically started with. We did at one time. I owned the Moldvay Basic and Expert. I think I even owned the no, not the Moldvay. Who's the dude? Mincer Basic and Expert, and my cousin had Moldvay, so we used both. Even though there was some, I realize now there's different rules there, but it didn't matter to us. We were making crap up anyway. So now we have the BECME. They had a lot more dragons, dude. I mean, a lot. They had the gem dragons and they had the dragon lords, which is, I didn't do much with anything outside the big kind of 6 in terms of discussion. But if you look, they have them statted out for small, large, and huge. That's their 3 divisions. And they were basically, well, the white was 3. Is there a 3 hit dice difference? No, there were some massive differences. Look at the blue.
Oh, yeah, 6, 9, 12.
13
9,
to 18.
18.
Blue, yeah.
The red gets up to, well, that's to be expected because you get levels go up to 36.
Dude, and check their saving throws out. Fighter 36 for a huge black. Actually, I think all of them had a fighter 36 if they were huge. Even the white. Yeah. The gold had 22 hit dice, had all those stars. I didn't read every little detail about that. And they talk about the breath weapons here. So percentage talking, percentage of being asleep. Everything is pretty standard. Though the gold, I didn't mention last time, the gold did have 2 breaths. They did add the fight a lot better because in OD&D, I didn't forget it. They had a bite or they had a breath. They didn't talk about claws.
Right.
I agree, Immortal Rising. Gem dragons are cool, but for this discussion, I'm keeping it to the chromatics and the metallics. They are cool.
Hey, what does it say the damage for their breath weapons was?
Okay. This is interesting. So breath weapon damage, current dragon hit points. It says,
that's where that started at.
Yeah. Here, I think here it is, right here. Any dragon can breathe up to 3 times per day. The number of points of damage the breath weapon does is equal to the dragon's current number of hit points. So its breath weapon drops. I don't really like that. That feels a little weak. I mean, I get it. I can visualize it. The dragon's getting beat down. It is hard to imagine a dragon on 1 hit point blasting you for 80 hit points of damage. I mean, in some ways, but I mean, that makes the breath fearsome. You just, I mean, rule of thumb is, right, when you fight dragons, first of all, you don't bunch up, right? You don't bunch it.
No, get out of that fireball formation whenever you can. Can you scroll back up a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Because it looked like their magic use is in a table.
Oh, back the other way. Hold on.
Yeah.
So yes. So here we go. Let me see.
It looks like they all are spellcasters.
Pretty much. Maybe that's if they talk. Several types of dragons, hundreds and thousands of years. Talking dragons are intelligent. Some speak dragon. And common, the percentage listed under chance of talking is the chance of that dragon being able to talk. Talking dragons also use magic, but not cleric spells, except for some dragons.
Right. So up again, a little bit higher than the spell table. There's that percentage. Yeah. Chance of talking.
I'm trying to
make, as long as they talk, they can cast spells.
Yeah, I'm trying to
make, according to what you just read.
Right. I'm having issues trying to make this bigger.
Yeah, the scan for this was not very good.
Yeah, it looks like the only dragons that get 5th level spells were huge reds and huge golds, and they got quite a few spells. It's got 5/5, 4/3, 2. That's not bad.
That's a lot.
And notice they had claws and kicks and tail smashes, bites and crushes. They even had some special maneuvers, which I thought was interesting. As I said, dude, I am becoming enamored of. I really appreciate the rules cyclopedia, and I know why folks think it's the best. They talk about physical attacks, other attacks that are. Is this where they get dragon tactics? The kick, the tail, the wing. None of this stuff was brought into play during the old D&D, during OD&D. So they really make the dragons a lot more. I think they're dang tough, but like you said, in rules cyclopedia, they kind of have to be.
Yeah, because they go up to 36 level, they make them. I guess in old D&D, never played it, so I don't have experience. I can't really tell you how it compares, but it looks to be dragons are fearsome.
Yes.
In this version.
Yes. I've yet to, well, we'll see. I think there's an edition of the game where the dragons are not. If you look at, I don't know where it said it. Oh, here it is. Can I make this? I can't make it big. Dragons are immune to the effects of their own breath weapon type. They automatically make their saving throw against any attack form that is the same as their breath weapon. For example, a red dragon suffers no damage from and usually ignores flaming oil, suffers only half damage from a fireball spell. So they made that comment. I actually don't like that. I think a red dragon, you are utterly wasting your time if you attack it with fire. No fire that you make or create or magic makes will affect it. I don't like that about 13th Age. I think it needs to be.
You don't like the half damage from a fireball? You think it should be no damage from a fireball?
I think it should be none. I think a red dragon should just be like, that was a dumb turn. Bad move, wizard. Now, if wizards wanted to, yes, Darth. Pretty much everywhere, the gold outclasses the red. I mean, especially in second, but in 3.5.2 and in Beckme, the gold is the king. And he's the boss.
Always been. Even OD&D, the gold dragon was the best.
There's no place where red beats gold, at least except maybe 4th or 5th. I can't say, but it's not OD&D through 3rd. There is no place where the same size or even remotely close. Usually a category down can give, a very old gold dragon could give a ancient red some,
especially because they tended to be, well, I don't know what the percentage difference in speaking between the gold and the red.
Right.
Here.
I'll look. Yes. Let's see. Percentage speaking. The
it's a lot different. 50% to 100%.
Yeah. So
half the red dragons out there aren't magical, so half of them would be beaten likely by most gold dragons.
Like a drum. The Immortal Rising asks, no damage from arcane fire, but what about eldritch? What are you classifying as eldritch? Those two words in my book,
they are synonymous, really,
to me, but he might be thinking something specifically different.
Now, if you're talking about 5th edition, there might be eldritch might be a different
or he might have an interpretation that's different. Just for my money, like I said, in I think in 13th Age, you use a fire attack because you roll to attack the dragons with your spells. When you cast a spell, you make attack rolls. They have resistance, like resistance 18. Oh, 3/5. I don't know if that's a category.
Well, when the Warlock came out.
Good point. Right.
Then there was Eldritch, this, that, and the other thing.
That might be what
might have been some
about.
other. There might have been some other class before that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure when the Warlock came out in 3/5, it wasn't in third. It was 3/5.
Yeah, it was. Thank you, Immortal Rising. That might have been a thing. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I know there was the Eldritch Blast, which I thought was kind of OP.
I would think that it would depend on the DM.
Really. Yeah, but I'm just saying, if I were creating a world, I don't think I would let fire hurt a red dragon without a wizard doing something special, having a special ritual.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, or learning.
This gem, I can affect half. Yeah. I would, maybe you still wouldn't do more than half damage, but you can still damage.
Most of you guys, even before we knew the rules, the play of the game, you guys would be like, "Don't attack that thing with fire. That's stupid." I mean, you guys would say,
right,
because it just seems logical.
Yeah, you don't throw a bucket of water on a water elemental and expect it to do anything.
Yeah, there is definitely some variations. I mean, the gold's not the top of the bar fully in Beckme. Let's just give at least a nod to some of the other dragons as you move along. The gem dragons were pretty tough. There was the crystal, onyx, jade, sapphire, so on, ruby, and amber. If you look, the amber, which sounds like gold, has 100. They look a lot like the chromatics in terms of percentages. Notice the onyx does darkness breath. The crystal does crystal breath. One or the other. Many multiple attacks. Vaporized breath by a sapphire. Interesting. Oh, wow. The amber does fire and melt, gas and disease. I guess it's a dragon too. So they were pretty tough. Then there's the dragon rulers, which, if you're looking for Tiamat and Bahamut, they're not here. There's the Pearl or the Moon Dragon, ruler of all chaotic. Diamond, the ruler of all lawful. Check the ACs out, bro. -8, -10, 30 hit dice. Watch out, son. Oh, the Great One, ruler of all dragons. -12. Yeah. Pretty boss.
They did 7th level spells.
Yes, they did.
Both clear
and magic user. Yeah.
And a buttload of them too.
Yeah. And then there's a few nods here. The old dragon turtle shows up. He was I love that dragon. Joe could say that was one of my favorites. I did of the
don't they breathe steam or something like that?
Yeah, they breathe steam. That's pretty hard to defend against because it wasn't fire. So it says, what does Darth say about Eldritch? Eldritch Blast was the same as a fireball for damage over all. You could do it. Well, it's broken. I want to play one so bad. Oh, maybe. I just thought there were some things they did. Arnman says, is lava the same as fire?
Lava's more a combination of earth and fire.
Yeah. And that's fair. If you wanted to say, I could do a lava ball, that could be part of the thing the wizard does. Learns a new spell. In 3/5, you could switch out descriptors, says Killraven. Killraven says 3/5. Warlock Eldritch Blast was untyped damage. Probably just
right, but you could make it fire, I think, with certain selections. And then couldn't you I can't remember how the 3/5 Warlock worked precisely, but couldn't you exchange usages of your blast to do your spells or magical effects?
Yeah, I don't. There were invocations. Killraven says you had to take invocations to give it a damage type.
Right.
Yeah, it was was it force? I think it was force damage in 3/5, which that would make sense. That would affect the dragon. But who knows? Like I said, the dragon turtle and some of the drakes and the dragon rulers were exceptions to the rule. Now we're going to go back and compare to the 7 hit dice, 42 hit point white dragon from before. A huge white dragon in Beckme, 12 hit dice, 96 hit points, and 96 point breath weapon, but it decreased as it took damage. But I would say it saved as a 36th level fighter. So if your group of 12th level characters are fighting a huge, which was the biggest white dragon in Beckme, he's making all the saving throws. You're not affecting him with stuff other than the things that don't have saves.
Yeah, I think the lowest save at 36 level for anybody is a 4, or the highest is a 4. It's often a 2.
Here's why, and David Gwill says this. He thought the Warlock's blast attack was unlimited. Yes, Killraven confirms, and that was a
But it
little.
didn't do that much damage.
It built over time though, and I think it just seemed better than what I thought it was. I don't know. I know when I first saw the Warlock during 3rd edition, my radar for balance was stupid. I mean, I was just thinking everything had to be balanced. Yeah. Yeah, Bruce, I agree. He said, remember when dragon turtles were common in high-level modules? Yes, everywhere you turned.
Slumbering Czar. That's the other thing that Bruce loves to mention. Dude. Slumbering Czar.
Hey, that's all right. You push what you
and
like.
The templates. What's the templates thing? Book of Mini Monster Templates, whatever that was called.
Come on,
Advanced Bestiary, something like that.
Yeah, I love I love me some dragon turtles. Now, see, Darth is telling me something. Eldritch Blast was an innate ability, so you had to use feats that affected natural abilities. So most of the meta magic feats didn't apply. That's the big downside. Not a big downside that you can't apply meta magic, especially if you stuck to it as written. I thought the meta magic rules, I thought the meta magic feats in 3.5 were cool. I thought the rules were kind of dumb. I mean, you got to burn a 5th level slot,
higher slot
to quicken a magic missile, which is going to do 5d4 plus 5.
If you could do it on the fly, that would be one thing, but having to prepare it that way was kind of stupid.
Yeah. Oh, Bruce says, not just you, Randy. Watch, you forgot what balance is every time that the accountants would bitch they hadn't made $250,000 this quarter. No, it's not that I've forgotten. In 3rd edition, I was just so focused on, I thought I had an idea that balance was this great and powerful, most important thing. I was bit by the balance bug. And any new class, if it had some ability that looked really cool, I would say, oh, it's too good. And that's part of why I'd like to go back and play it again with fresh eyes. Who was it? What was the class? Martinson. Maybe he could chime in. He played a class from, what was that dumb book? That was late in the run of 3.5 where they had visages and they would take on the different, and I thought they could be a fighter for a while or a wizard for a while. And it sounded OP until he actually played it. And then it was like, dude, he needs like 7 hours to change this out. He can't just go fighter wizard in a round or a turn. He needs like a day to rest and prepare his visages.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't remember what that is either. I didn't think it was overpowered. I thought it was kind of weak.
Who, the Warlock or the Visage guy?
The Visage guy.
Oh no, I agree. The Visage guy. Thank you. Magic of Incarnum. That's where it came from, Darth. Thank you. And that was a weird. Whole Bruce was telling me some stuff. Remember when templated monsters and non-player characters caused your table grief? Go back to town and resurrect the mage level grief. Advanced Bestiary remembers.
That's the other one.
Yeah, Tome of Incarnum. I used to have that book, but I think I got rid of that. It wasn't the Shifter Martinson. That was a.
They had different ones.
That's true. It might have been. There was a shift. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. They had a billion classes. I know there's a shifter binder. That's it. Thank you, Killraven. The binder. Yes. Tome of Magic. Thank you. That was the dude. I thought it was Incarnum. Yeah, Tome of Magic. The binder was, at least when Martinson played it, it sounded good when we talked about him. Didn't turn out very good. Yes, Incarnum. One thing I did like about that, we're getting off topic here, but that's okay because we got all kinds of dragons. Oh, wrong one. Incarnum says, Killraven says, Incarnum was a whole other pile of nonsense. The only thing I took from Incarnum that I liked was I do imagine back when, again, we had the whole balance thing and characters needed to have a certain amount of gold piece value of equipment. Remember when we used to worry about that all the time, Joe?
Right. Well, married with that was the burgeoning idea, X number of magic items. And those magic items should only be within a power level commensurate with your character. You know, those ideas were all floating around at the same time this stuff was floating around. And the balance idea too. And I know I got maybe a little caught up in that, but I've abandoned the idea of balance as a thing that we need to have in our games.
Yeah, I agree, Kill Raven. Those classes were exploitable. That's what you would do. There was an Incarnum character that a guy we used to be friends with, made a 6th level character that managed to pull out a 30 armor class. And I don't think he might have had a magic set of plate mail, but he had a 30 AC at 6th level with an Incarnum fighter type guy. Yeah, it was all exploits. But back to dragons. So I think Beckme had some really. I mean, the dragons were buff. So OD&D, and Beckme dragons look pretty boss and cool. Anything else you want to say about Beckme, Joe?
Well, no, I think that's appropriate to the system and to the setting.
Yeah,
you have characters that can get up to 36 level, although it still only had maximum 9th level spells. But you didn't get those until later on, like 24th level or something like that. So the access to spells were spread out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the upper end of the game was a bit higher scale than other versions of the game of D&D. And honestly, there were having the dragons like that it'd be interesting to play at that high end against monsters like that and see how it works out. Because high end first edition and second edition D&D had issues like we've talked about many times, where once you got to a certain level, monsters in the book, barring extra books like the Advanced Bestiary or whatever, weren't really a challenge.
Right.
You would have to tinker with things as a DM. Whereas a player, you just pull stuff right out of the book. It's not the way it should be. Both. That's where I think if you're going to have a balance, the DM and the player should have equal access to their toys. The DM shouldn't need to pull things out of his rear end to challenge characters who are pulling things out of the books.
Yeah. So I want to say a couple things about Beckme I've written down here. Not only did they extend the various attacks on ground and so on, subdual had to be done with the flat of a sword. You could not use missiles nor spells to subdue a dragon in Beckme.
Right.
And it was not real, and you had to beat him down to 0 hit points, and he would realize, oh, you could have killed me. Now I give up. What else? There was another thing that I thought was kind of interesting. Oh, it's not as big. Now that I see the hit dice, it's not as big of a deal. But a small, large, or huge size dragon, or say younger dragons would have -3 hit dice, while older ones had +3 hit dice. All right.
On top of the hit dice that are listed there?
I believe so, yes. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see.
Well, because the gold dragon, the upper end, I think they had 24 hit dice. So that would give them 27. Yeah. I mean, it's not 36. Maybe they should have a little more, but they have all the magic. And if you use, they're not the ones you're sending up to the upper end 36 level characters. You're using the gem dragons, because those guys, I mean,
or the rulers,
they're magic user spells.
If you're really high and you fight the rulers,
and the rulers, And so I think it's quite possible that Rule Cyclopedia is more geared to for high level play than first or second edition was.
Oh, I think so. Well,
that's the way it looks at first blush.
I would agree with than first. Sapphire was boss lady. Yeah. Let's look at first edition now. This is where I learned a few things that I just did not remember at all, or maybe there's one thing. So here's the beginning of the monster manual. So the age categories have increased. So now you've got very young to ancient, and there's 8 categories, not 6.
And that's because they're D8s instead of D6s or whatever. They're D8s for their hit dice.
Yeah, and you roll for the size of the dragon. If you notice right here, I don't know if you can see it. 8-sided dice is roll, 1 to 2 small, 3 to 7 average, 8 huge. This size determines and indicates the number of hit dice a dragon has. So I guess they still had a range of values for hit dice. Oh, the dragon fear was brought into the game. An adult,
yeah,
an adult or older dragon could bring fear by its presence, and some pretty juicy things happened. If you look right here's a list of 5 things.
Dragon Fear was nasty.
Yeah. All creatures under 1 hit die, forget about it. You're freaking out. 3 hit dice had to save with magic or paralyzed with fear or panic. 3 or more hit dice will fight at a -1 on their hit dice unless they save versus magic. So no matter what level, if you fail your save, you get a -1. Oh no, creatures with 6 or more hit dice disregard it. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Not bad. Sleeping dragons, they don't talk much about the talky talk, but they do have the sleeping dragon stuff. The killer subdue. So this is where we get to see a lot more expansion of the dragon types. Let me jump ahead a little bit. They're on different pages. So you have the black.
A lot of that is similar to old D&D, though.
Well, I don't think old D&D had didn't have the brass.
No. What I'm saying is, if you scroll back up a little bit, a lot of these tables are very similar.
Yes, like this one.
That table right there.
Yes.
The value, length, subduing a dragon, all of that has a similar feel to the older D&D.
Yes, it does, for sure. Length of subdual, encountering multiple dragons. Make that a little bigger.
That's a new section there, encountering multiple, I believe.
Yeah, that where they talk about mated pairs. If 2 or more dragons are encountered outside their lair, it'll be a mated pair. It talks about breathing. Yes, if young dragons are attacked, both adults will automatically breathe, and then melee to bite, gaining a ferocity bonus of +2 and a +1/+3 in clawing and biting. Did I just make it all +3? Silly.
Oh yeah, might as well.
Well, I mean, I found that so weird. If either of the mated pairs attack, the other dragon will rush to its defense, gaining the ferocity. Yeah, they're pretty dangerous. Like they need extra help. I thought it was kind of cool. If you look down here, I want to talk about dragon saving throws. Notice they had. I love this one.
Yeah.
Sputum. They gave these Latin sounding words they might be actual Latin words. For each dragon had their, they were trying to give that the name.
I think any relation to actual Latin is accidental.
And there's their speaking, magic use, and sleeping chances. Here's the thing that I love.
Very few of the black use magic.
And here is the hit dice. So a 6 would be a small, 7 would be a what they call it, a small, large, or huge. Now, what was here's one of the new things I learned I didn't know. Look at this. When a dragon attains 5 or more hit dice, so they're at the 5th age category, its saving throw is calculated by dividing its total hit points by 4, thus giving a higher number of hit dice than normally. This reflects the magic resistance and general toughness of this creature. Conversely, even a very young dragon gains the benefit of the actual number of its hit dice. So an old dragon, right, of 8 hit dice, this guy right here, he would normally save as an 8 hit dice creature. But if he has 64 hit points, 64 divided by 4 is 16. So if he had max hit points, he would save as a 16 hit dice creature. So that's an interesting way to handle magic resistance or magic. Yeah, but I think magic resistance, didn't that come along much later in 1st edition? And they did that plus or minus. I think
it started in Monster Manual 2.
We should talk about magic resistance sometime.
Okay.
But I thought that was kind of interesting. I have a lot of thoughts.
I think the first place I remember seeing it or hearing you talk about seeing it was Monster Manual 2.
I think you're right. And the Latin name, I agree. Bruce said, I love the Latin naming conventions in this tome, like I enjoy the Latin names in the above captions. They are funny. So, very cool.
Very funny.
Okay, so let's see here. Where am I on 1st edition? But that was new to me. I did not know that about saving throws. I don't remember ever reading that. So that surprised me. But they added the brass dragon. They added the bronze and copper. I always had trouble with all these, trying to keep them all straight. I used to know them moderately well. If you look at the brass dragon, he has a pretty good chance of magic use, 60%.
Yep.
All the golds have a pretty good chance. And then they called her the chromatic dragon or Tiamat. Look at those weak hit points. It's kind of weak.
But that's not her body though.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the work.
You can just do 50 hit points to her body, right?
I think that's what it was. Oh, if her body takes more than 48 hit points of damage, she is dispelled to her own plane. Dude, that's weak. That is so weak.
Or slain if fought in hell.
Yeah.
Which is where we fought her at.
Mm-hmm. And you killed her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Bruce is talking. How do I beat Matt? We'll get to that later. Magic resistance for another time. Yes, Jack the 71st concurs. It was second monster manual. But
thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Jack the 71st.
But they had the different types of dragons. The gold dragon was pretty boss. Look at T-Mat's armor class 0. Not even as good as a gold dragon, where a Bahamut had a -3 and 168 hit points.
Yeah. 21 hit dice.
So he saved as a 42nd hit die, a 42nd level creature. That's how he made it. Yeah, pretty boss. And so they had quite a few. I did find it that in this game, they talked more about how dragons had some abilities like improvision, detect hidden foes, and invisibility. I don't think that came up before. So that was talked about. They gave a pretty decent description of how many people could attack a dragon. Let me find this. On page 30, I made a note. That was kind of fun to think about. Reminded me like a preview of 3rd edition. Where does it say? Attacking a dragon. Here it is. Right here. Oops. A maximum of, let me get this bigger. A maximum of 1 human-sized attacker per 3 linear feet of exposed dragon. Now, if you notice, they talk about the size of the dragon, excluding the tail. Thus, a dragon with a 15-foot-long body, fully exposed, would offer opportunity for a max of 11 humans to attack it. 5 per flank plus 1 at its head. Interesting.
Right. So they should have just said that.
Yeah. Right.
Because most of us players, when you say linear feet,
yes,
we're like, what? Be clear.
Yeah, be clear.
I know I could probably look it up, and it means what I think it means.
Straight lines.
But a lot of people, when you say, what does he mean by linear feet? Feet, a line. So however much linear feet, whatever space that it takes up on the ground.
And they fully talk. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes that's not so great. It says, with Dragon's hit point, there was some confusion about the breath weapon. I did not see where it said the breath weapon would go down when it took damage. It might have said that somewhere, but I didn't see it. So I'm not sure about 1st edition, whether you attack a dragon, you beat him up a little bit, his breath weapon goes down. He did have a 50-50 chance to breathe. And their spells were determined randomly. But look at this. Here's the funny part. Look where the spell description is. It's written here. It's black dragons which can speak. Let me highlight this if I can. Black dragons which can speak are capable of using magic and can employ 1 first-level spell for each stage of their maturity. Roll randomly to determine which spells they know. The spells are a special form of ordinary spells which require only a spoken component, but each can be employed but once per day. Repeat spells are possible if random rolls are indicated. So they give that description in the description of the black dragon. They don't talk about spell use before that. And then they go on.
That's weird.
Yeah, but as they go along, they talk about other dragons getting spells. So here's the description of the blue.
Oh, well, it says what they get.
Yeah.
Go back up.
Yeah, right. It says what they get.
So the black dragon is unique in how it gets its spells or what the spells are. This is the black dragons. For each stage of maturity, they get from 1st through 3rd, they gain a 1st. From 4th through 6th, they gain a 2nd. 7th through 8th brackets, they gain a 3rd. Thus, an ancient blue dragon would have 3 first, 3 second, 2 third to earn all such spells randomly. And if the same spell is rolled twice, they can use the spell twice a day.
Yeah. So maybe that
So
description.
it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I just thought it was funny that I guess maybe they just did that for every dragon within their brass dragon.
Yeah, they do it for every dragon.
Yeah, they do individual. I guess that's not so bad. I thought it was a little weird at first, but it was not so bad. Yeah.
They just, because all the dragons have different. They could have probably described it in a more succinct manner.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't worth it to them. They could have said, when dragons gain spells, they gain it in this fashion. But it's probably easier just to do it the way they did.
Hey, Halcyon H is in the house. Tonka Todd has a question I think is interesting. Have either of y'all looked over DC's Build a Dragon tables? I have not, and I have.
I'm going to yank that mule choker out.
You going to grab DCC? All right. All right, cool.
I'm pretty sure I have it on PDF as well, but I don't know where.
Oh, Arnman says, does it take the round for a dragon to cast a spell, meaning no other attacks that round? I believe so. There is no particular mention other than that interesting statement right here, bud, where it says the spells are a special form, only requiring a spoken component. I think
but it doesn't otherwise change the way spells are done.
It depends. I think there's nothing wrong. I think in first edition, in my opinion, this is where you could probably give dragons some help. I didn't think they were all that good. I mean, look at this, and I talk about this a lot. If you go to the red dragon, let's find him. So your big boy, red dragon, he's tough. His bite's 3 to 30. I get that. His armor class is -1. Now, with 88 hit points, dude, a halfway decent mid-level party could kick that dude's face in. If his breath weapon drops as he takes damage. But if it doesn't, it might be more interesting. Todd wants to roll up a dragon. We could do that. If Joe can find it. Is it in the core book, Todd? The dragon table? Yeah, I agree, Darth. It says it's a spell at the same time to cast as a wizard. Yep.
Oh, that's crit table.
Is the DCC table in the core book? Bruce says, I would always have the dragons casting spells with full rounds of attacks. No need to have the PCs expend more effort to slaughter people with physical disabilities.
There's a crit table for dragons.
The one magic bean says, that's my boy there. This is a DCC dragon? Does it have the chance to randomly explode? This is not a DCC dragon, Mr. Bean. This is the AD&D first edition one. So the only thing changing the casting, okay. I think I would, if I were running first edition, I would.
Here we go.
You found it?
Yep.
Could we roll a dragon up? I could roll some dice. Tonka asked if we roll.
Yeah, you have the unique DCC dice.
I do.
Okay, well, the first one is a D20, which is not unique, but D20.
Okay. 17.
Large size.
Dragon. He's large.
So
charge.
He's large, which means his hit dice are D10 plus 6.
Nice. That's a boss.
Speed of 60. Attack bonus. Hit dice plus D6, whatever all that means. Anyway, Dragon Age, D12.
D12 Dragon Age. I got you. Oh, 12.
Immortal.
We got an immortal dragon. All right.
Ooh, boy. Daily breaths, 6.
Oh.
Hit points for 12 points per hit die.
12 points per hit die?
Yep. It's not a lot of hit points, but
how many hit dice does he have?
D10 plus 6. I'm not sure what that means. You roll a D10, add 6, and that's how many hit dice they have?
Is that what that means? Maybe.
I don't know DCC very well, but it's probably a lot.
Yeah. 16. No, if you rolled 6, that's 12. He had 144 hit points. Doesn't sound like a lot.
Right. So the immortals get 12 hit points per hit die, 6 daily breaths, die for spells at D12 plus 10.
What's that?
Armor class 21 plus hit die.
Oh wow.
Attacks 4 claws, bite, tail slap, wing buffet, and crush. Okay.
33.
Dragon breath weapon.
Pause. Patrick Demos says the red dragon in 1E looks more like a pissed off parrot than a red dragon. He does. I thought he looks dumb. Yeah.
Okay, randomly rolling the breath weapon.
Okay.
D14.
Okay. 8.
Electricity.
Oh wow. Okay.
Damage as dragon's hit points or half with a save.
Okay.
Line. It's a 1 to 4 line forks. Blah blah blah. All right.
Lady says looks more like Big Bird with a serious case of mange. David Gwill said earlier something. I missed David Gwill's comment. He thought it looked. Who said it looked like Smaug, or was that? Darth Thick says it looks like Smaug from LOTR, the animated version. Jack the 71st. Polly won a red dragon? Right on. Oh, let's see how Rumble's doing. Oh, no chatties. Glad you guys are watching, though. Glad they're there. So, not bad.
Use for spell use, you roll a D12 plus 10.
Okay. Wow, only 11.
Altogether?
I rolled a 1.
All right. So, yes, at 11 to 12, you get a spell action die of a D30 and a D20. 2 level 1 spells, 2 level 2 spells, and no level 3 spells. So, not great, but not horrible. You get some spells.
Yep. Yeah, I'm kind of with. I think dragons cast spells for free because I'm like that.
Okay, dragons get martial powers.
Okay.
Roll a percentile dice.
I can do that.
Actually, you're going to roll it multiple times. Let's see. One martial power for every full 4-hit dice it possesses.
That'll be 3 times.
Possesses
12.
Well, that's hit points per hit die.
I thought you said a D10 plus 6, and I rolled 12.
Oh, you did altogether?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3. You get 3 powers.
Okay. I rolled
so
30.
30?
65. Sorry, 65.
65. Infravision, 100 feet.
Okay. 78.
Retinue. The dragon is always accompanied by a retinue of loyal followers, warriors, cultists, allies, and slaves. A D4 plus 4 followers of D4 plus 2 hit die each, armed with swords and chainmail.
Oh, okay. You got followers.
And third.
36.
Fast reflexes. The dragon's reflex save is increased by an additional plus 4. Okay, unique powers. Dragon receives 1 unique power for every full 3-hit dice it possesses. So this will get 4. A unique power requires 1 action, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so 4 rolls of percentile. Oh, hold on a second. Yes.
Okay, 34.
34. Dust cloud. The dragon can summon a dust cloud 10 foot wide, 30 foot tall, or 50 foot tall. Targets within suffocate.
Oh, wow.
Fort save or D4 stamina loss per round. That seems harsh.
It does. I like
Cloud remains while the dragon concentrates. Ooh. All right. 3 more rolls.
Oh,
3 more rolls.
18.
You're not rolling very well.
I know.
Clear passage at will. A dragon can pass through vegetation without leaving a trace. Okay.
Yep. 49. 49.
49. Ice walking. The dragon can walk across icy surfaces as if it was normal ground. Last roll.
12.
Dude. Charm. Once an hour.
Oh.
Dragon can charm one living creature. Target considers the dragon as his close friend for a D4 days or until attacked or betrayed by the dragon. Will save. Resists.
Dude, he sounded pretty good. He could have been a lot terrible.
Well, could it be teleport once an hour? Turn invisible once an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah. Change shape. So yeah, interesting. Let's see. They got a random dragon appearance and alignment. So D30 for appearance.
Oh, okay. 23.
Sapphire.
Ooh.
And then a random alignment.
Okay.
D6.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. D6. 6.
Chaotic.
Ah.
So this uses the old D&D lawful, neutral, chaotic. They got a similar set of tables, not quite as extensive, but similar set of tables for demons as well.
Fun. I need to look at that a little closer.
It looks like it's just appearance wise.
Oh, okay. Well, I like tables. Tables be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they got a Cyclops in here that looks just like the Cyclops from Krull.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks almost exactly like the Krull Cyclops.
Right.
All right. That was fun.
And the white dragon in this game is only slightly better than the white dragon in OD&D. So if we have a huge, ancient white dragon in first edition, it's barely better than OD&D. He would have, because he has D8 hit dice, he would have 56 hit points, doing a 56 breath weapon. And look at his stats: D4 damage for the claws and 2 to 16 for the bite. Armor class 3, kind of weak.
Yeah, I mean, breath weapon could be pretty harsh.
The dragon.
No,
he was all right. He was kind of a sphinx-like. He says that I think they were a mix between a brass dragon and a sphinx, or they were a sphinx-like creature with a lion head. I don't know. And they had the dragon turtle. Which, what do you guys think of that, dude? That's a weird looking, kind of Chinese looking dragon, isn't it?
Yeah.
The dragon turtle. Yeah. Yeah, Killraven, I agree. Looking at One E Dragon's kind of depressing. Their art was not the best.
It looks like his head is bigger than the rest of his body. That's probably a bad perspective.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean,
Carapace looks really small.
Some of the pictures were weird. One he had, look, I really cut my teeth on this edition of the game. I did, but I really was underwhelmed with dragons in first edition. Of course, we played a lot of high level. We had a lot of powerful things. We had fighters of 12th level wielding vorpal swords or, other things. You know it. Big GeekCon.
Hey, one magic bean. Yes, Big GeekCon. Go get your tickets on sale. We really need to have 20 folks signed up by the end of the month.
Yep. If not, it's going down. Bruce says he hates to say it, that he does not like first edition. TSR is always a sad event for me. I like the idea of the game within it, but we enjoyed Rules Cyclopedia much more. First and second were my jam. Yeah, Arnman, they say, I have Osric. Everybody says Osric's a better organized version of first edition. First edition is a rule set. The dragons I thought were less impressive. Yeah, just not it's not my bag, baby. Much more pleased. I mean, OD&D. I mean, when you're essentially an OD&D white dragon, it's not all that great. I mean, they're really not that much better than an OD&D white dragon. and the characters had a much bigger power up. So I think if we're comparing dragons to dragons from the editions, clearly Beckme has an edge over first and OD&D. Second is going to make a run for the money, though. Second edition, we had a pretty big power up for dragons. Let's see here. So let's share this. Here's some information with the dragons. They do a lot of this was common. The Monster Manual had they were big on descriptions and talking about all sorts of things. The categories had an upgrade.
Yeah, just let you know it's very light.
Yes, I know it is. Sorry. Let me try to make it bigger if that will help. There are the dragon age categories, 12 of them. And check this out. Hit die modifier. So a great worm had an 8 to his hit dice. He had plus 12 to his attack, I think, and damage. I'm not sure. Let me look.
Just a combat modifier, so it makes sense that that's.
It might be both. Definitely to hit. Fear radius got bigger. Fear modifier. So a great worm had a -4. I don't know what's the parentheses. Let's see. I'm not seeing it. Creature's not starting and charging dragon. Creatures not automatically panicked or entitled to a saving throw. Creatures failing their saving throws are stricken with fear and fight with a -2 penalty. The aura increases in size and power. All creatures with hit dice equal to or greater than the dragon are immune. So you had to be greater than or equal to his hit die.
That's right here. Cool. The bonuses appear in parentheses in the dragon table. So gem dragons are not as inherently fearsome as other dragons. No saving throws against their bonus. So saving throws. Okay.
Yeah, gem dragons are not very fearsome. There's the hit die modifier. Combat
matter. Parentheses are for gem dragons.
Oh, it's only to damage rolls. Does not apply to breath weapon. Claw bite. Let's see here. What else did we learn about these dudes? They learn spells haphazardly, so that would be random. They do not use spell books. These are different variant attacks. Stall, tail slap, wing buffet, kick, all the good, cool things, plummet. Yeah, if you read through that, there's some pretty solid attacks that dragons could do in this game. Every spell that a dragon cast is one segment in second edition.
Huh.
So their spells go fast. Let's see here. Then we get to the descriptions of them. What else did I want to mention? Magic resistance. I didn't know this, Joe. I thought it was the other way around. Second edition was static magic resistance. So did their magic resistance vary based upon their age? Trying to find where magic resistance was, but it was static, so it didn't matter what level caster you were. It would be whatever percentage. It says
variable there. It probably varies according to the dragon type.
Yeah. Let's see. They got special abilities. Look at this. So the Black Dragon got special abilities. He got darkness 3 times a day, corrupt water when he's an adult. What else did he get? Yeah, a few more. Plant growth as an old dragon, summon insects as venerable, and charm reptiles 3 times a day as a great worm. Here we go. It was in their specific table. So, sorry. Magic resistance could pop up to 45%, which means you cast a spell, even if you're 19th level, there's a 45% chance it doesn't work. Breath weapon damage, not all that impressive, but a great black worm could do 24 D4 plus 12. He got 9 spells of first level, and his armor class was -7. So not too shabby for just a little black dragon. Let's look at the white. If I can find, I want to make this a little smaller. So there's just tons of dragons. The blue dragon looks, I think the art's a little better in second. Not a lot, but a little.
This is from the Monstrous Compendium type of entries.
Yeah, the Monstrous Manual, correct. It was this. It's actually the PDF of the Monstrous Manual. Third printing 94, it says. The red's pretty terrifying. So his base AC is -3. And he can get up to -11, 24 D10 plus 12. He could cast up to 2/4 5th level wizards, 2nd level clerics, 65% magic resistance. And he was in the neighborhood of 300 feet long. So a great red worm was no joke. The white worm was a base 1 armor class. And let's check out his breath weapon. 12d6 plus 12. So doing an average, 36 plus 6 is 42. Only 54 damage. So not too different from his counterpart of the earlier edition. But he did have a -7 AC. That's quite a bump. And he would have a lot of hit dice. So he would have, as hit dice goes, he would have
11 base.
11 base plus 8. So 19 hit dice for that dragon and 12d6 plus 12. He's definitely better than first edition and OD&D. And the magic resistance was only 40%, but Joe would hate that because 40% every spell sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to block a spell or 3.
Then you have the gem dragons, and we're not going to talk about them, but definitely I think it was an upgrade. His damage is only slightly better, but no, he had plus 12 to damage. So when you see the claw here, it's D6 plus 12, D6 plus 12, 2d8 plus 12. So yeah, not bad, dude.
Not bad.
I think second edition was quite a bit of an upgrade. So yes, Rudy says Council of Worms supplement was an amazing. It was interesting. I never truly played it, but I had it for a long time. I thought about it, but it just seemed off to me. I thought dragons were neat.
You didn't like it because you could be a dragon player character in it.
No, that was not my cup of tea. Patrick says a very blue-looking black dragon. Let me go back. Here is the black. I may have showed the blue.
Yeah.
But maybe he looks bluish. He does look kind of bluish, a dark blue. I think the blue looked pretty good. Let's take a look at the green was okay.
They could have made that blue very much darker.
The red was not
with blue black.
The red was better than the old red, for sure. The picture.
Yeah, it's still not that great.
No, but the art's an improvement from definitely.
It is an improvement.
Yeah, better than BECMI and better than OD&D, which had none. So, in first edition. Yeah, I remember they could play a hatchling. Interesting. But overall, I think the dragons had some special abilities, which that's an upgrade. I think the second edition dragon is winning right now as the most powerful.
Yeah, that makes sense.
His breath weapon's not all that great, but his AC is going to be boss at 7, and he's going to have 19 hit dice, and he's going to have he's going to do some terrible damage. D6 plus 12 is his attack routine is not going to be bad, plus all the special types of attacks. So
it seems that a great worm is a great worm is a great worm. They still vary in power, but a great worm is terrifying. Even a great worm.
Yeah, you could. I don't think I ever threw a great red worm against anybody in second edition. Jack the 71st says second edition dragons were dragons to be.
Recognize.
Reckon with. Thank you, sir. Yeah, definitely. They were. I remember when I got that book, I was very pleased because I mean, it was quickly in the middle of first edition. You remember, I said, dragons suck. They just suck. And so I was always looking in Dragon Magazine or Monster Manual, and you'd find some of them, and they made dragons a little tougher. But second edition just started out and said, you know what? These dragons are the namesake of the game. They're going to take names. And they did.
That makes sense.
They really did. Other than that, there was also, I was surprised. Now, I don't know if it's just my PDF, but there was brown and cloud. Remember the Cloud Dragon, Deep Dragons, Mercury Mist, Shadow Dragon, Steel Dragon? And a fairy dragon and a pseudo dragon and a fire drake were all considered a dragonette. Yes, Arn Man, first edition magic resistance, correct. He says is based on a spell being cast by an 11th level magic user. It must be adjusted upwards for 5 if it's below, or down if it's above, right? So I actually like that better, where the wizard can affect the magic resistance of a creature. But if you play a lot of games, like a lot of people do, levels 1 to 5, it makes magic resistance pretty awesome.
It does. Huh? Killraven says, bad, bothered about disposable dragons.
Yeah. Darthiak agrees. When compared to the average PC, I would say they are the worst of all. I think first edition he's saying. Yes, 3.5 may look more powerful, but when compared to the average PC, they don't match up to 2E. Oh, yeah.
That may be. That very well may be.
I agree. I think third edition looked really good. Well, 3.0, the dragons were under CR'd. Monty Cook actually said that. Their CR was placed purposely lower than what they actually were, because they wanted to be a challenge, which I thought was kind of cheesy and underhanded to do. But let's jump on to third since we're talking about it. Let's see here. What time is it? 9:12. Are we doing okay, Joe?
We are doing okay. Thank you, Tonka Todd. He's running off to bring in groceries with his wife. Great stream as always. Don't forget to do the things.
Yeah, why don't you tell them to do that, Joe? Let's take a pause. Tell them to do it, because we might have to just stop.
Subscribe, hit the bell notification, chat, get in the comments, share this with your buddies.
Yeah.
Hit the thumbs up.
Okay.
And if you're listening to us on in audio format, then be sure to follow us on your podcatcher.
Yep.
Leave us a review. That would be great. And tell your friends about it. And head over to Tabletop Events. Search for Biggest Geekus or Big Geek Con. Pick up a ticket. Only $30 for 2 days of gaming. And also head over to Big Geek Emporium and look at our wares. We're bringing up bundling, though it's not all the way done. This has been a feature people have been asking about. That and physical products. We're getting the issues with those things sorted out. Hopefully they will be fully baked very soon. All right. Back to the dragons.
Dragons. We return to the dragons. So in comes third edition. This is a 3.5. I'd mentioned how the CRs of the dragons were underrepresented. They literally said they made them lower. But here we are. I know it looks like doppelganger, but I'm talking about the dragon. Let's see. Can you see? Let me try to make that a little bigger. There we go. So there's the age category of dragons. They're sticking with the 12. They go from Bowling to Great Worm. That's kind of cool. I think the power, they tried to do a power up. So in terms of the attack routines, they were the same. They did have some new sizes though. So now dragons could go from tiny all the way up to colossal. In third edition, there was colossal. They had all the different attacks.
Isn't that mostly kind of cosmetic? Does it make that much of a difference game wise?
Well, let's look at it. There are some things when it comes to grappling and stuff. There were some rules, space and reach. So you get more base damage. If you look right here, if you're colossal versus tiny, and tail slap, different damage types and sweeps and effects. A dragon's bite attack has a reach as if it was a creature one size larger. So dragons could get you all over the board. Their reach was 20 feet. Pretty awesome for a colossal dragon. They do not favor grappling, but that's because they would be way too good at it and you would never get away. Their breath weapons could be used once every D4 rounds. So if the DM rolls low enough, you can breathe every other round. You made a reflex save. The base DC was 10 plus half the dragon's hit dice plus the dragon con modifier, which when you look at the dragons, generally pretty good. There's a description of the breath weapon. If there's a line or a cone, they had frightful presence, which is the fear aura, all these other abilities, spell resistance, which was third edition's magic resistance, not nearly as powerful as magic resistance. They had damage reduction. Some of that was okay, honestly.
Blind sense is pretty big.
Blind sense is huge. A dragon can pinpoint creatures within a distance of 60 feet. Opponents the dragon can't actually see, still have total concealment. I'm not sure. Okay, there's some statistical modifiers.
So if there's like a barrier,
mm-hmm.
but they're still within 60 feet, then they've got concealment. They know they're there.
Yeah, you couldn't surprise them. They knew you were there. They just couldn't see you. Of course, they might just melt whatever you're behind. That's possible too. And the feats made a big difference. Not so much in the core game, but if you tacked on the third edition Draconomicon, you can do some pretty crazy stuff. Yes, correct. So Armin says, I would think that after the dragon breathes, then roll a D. Yeah, correct. I'm sorry. I may have misspoke. That's how it worked. So it's theoretically that he could breathe in round one, roll a D4 at the end of round one, and roll a 1. So the next round he would melee. Third round he would breathe again. Kill Raven.
Why would it skip a round? If you roll a 1, isn't that the next round?
How does it? Let me read the phrasing. Maybe it is. How did the phrasing go? Breath weapon. Once a dragon breathes, it can't breathe again until a D4 rounds later. Oh, so if it breathes in one round later, yes, he could breathe. Yeah, so theoretically, a dragon could breathe 5 or 6 times in a row if you roll a 1 enough. Blind sense, does it need line of effect? Some of these guys are speaking our old language. I don't speak as well. Third edition ease. Dragons within a distance of 60 feet. You may be correct. Kill Raven, he says it may need line of effect. I don't know. Kill Raven also said the 3.5 Draconomicon did a lot of work towards making the dragons really nice. Yeah, I think it was Darth Theok. I think the character bumps made dragons less than savage. It was hard to be a solo creature against high-level, well-built 3/5 characters. So
yeah, I think so.
They give the dragon. So if you look here, here's the black dragon. These are the advancement. So a great worm black dragon could have up to 38 plus hit dice. So they could be pretty boss. Their challenge rating would be 22. Not bad at all. Here's their stats, which is a lot of numbers. So if you look at a great worm black, he is gargantuan, second largest size, average of 536 hit points. Mm-hmm. His strength is 37. Yeah. His attack was plus 37 base, 62 to grapple. Forget grappling him unless you build the hulking hurler.
Yeah.
Plus 46 to attack in general. Look at those saving throws. Pretty tough. What was his SR? Breath weapon, 24 D4, not great. But the DC is not slouchy at 36. No. Frightful presence, you had to roll 33 will save or you're scared poopless. Yeah. These dragons were pretty boss. Draconomicon made them pretty crazy. But honestly, 3/5 characters, I still think second edition wins the Dragon War in terms of being the most dangerous, especially with no magic resistance not being able to adjust magic resistance at all, because SR could be defeated based on your level. So, and if you're running CR system, let's look at that again. If you're running the CR system as suggested, then you're looking at facing this beast, this black worm, when you're around anywhere between, say, 17th to 24th level, depending on what kind of a fight you want him to be. A 17th level group should have a very hard time with him, but I'm not sure that would be the case. A 17th level.
But with a CR22, if you had a bunch of 20th level characters on that dragon,
I think if you had 5 17th level characters on that dragon, if they were well built, there'd be trouble.
Yeah.
I think you would need the Draconomicon to make him awesome.
The thing is, though, that dragon's not missing anybody. Even well built 17th level characters are not going to have an armor class that good.
Yeah, because a lot of the really stupid builds online expect the DM to let you get away with crap. Killraven says it really depends on your group. If no one is pimping their character out, 3E dragons are scary. In a group of full optimizers, you have to counter optimize. Yeah, you do, and that's where the Draconomicon comes into play.
500 hit points is a lot of hit points to beat down, even for a high level party.
And his saving throws, I mean, at 17th level, I guess you can have. God, it's been so long since I've done the calculations. We used to do it pretty fast. The DC's on your spells. His low DC is reflex, but that's a damaging spell, so that's not going to mean much. But his will saves plus 25, and I guess if you pumped it as a wizard by 17th level, I mean, goodness, I guess you got a 18, 20 plus 5, and then divide by 4. So you got a 20. You got a plus 9 modifier base, so 19 plus spell level. And then if you add your feats in, maybe 22 plus spell level. So you could make him roll a 6, I guess. I mean, I'm thinking there's like plus 6 you could add to your DC. Let's be really generous. There's plus 10. So you could make it a 41. So he's got to roll a 16. I guess that's pretty good. No, plus 10 would be 4 more. That'd be a 35. So let's go 10 or higher. That's pretty good. But the dude, you can't attack him with damaging spells if there's a saving throw. He's going to make it.
Right. And, yeah, most likely.
And that's assuming he's not pimped out. But as a party, your fighters are hitting 5 times. They're attacking. They're probably hitting that AC. What was that AC? What's that AC on that dude?
37.
Yeah, your fighters are, let's see, they're
probably.
Definitely plus 17 base.
Plus 17.
And plus another 10 or, well, even a plus 10, that's only 27. That's 10 or higher. So, but I mean, 5 attacks around.
They're not hitting it all the time with regularity.
Unless they got someone really cool, like Killraven said, you pimp him out, you probably could take him down. I mean, and if you really go to the hardcore maximizer, some of you guys, I could pick 5 of you Cabin Con guys, you could probably build a ridiculous party of 7. I've seen you do it with the Epic games, so I'm sure you could. I mean, and take out that dragon pretty easy. Assuming no.
Because what's the breath weapon? What's the breath weapon on that Great Worm, damage wise?
Not huge, 24d4. So, not much.
Well, 40 some odd hit points. Yeah, say for half.
You'd probably kick his face in.
Yeah.
536 sounds a lot bigger than what it is.
Well, bring up the red.
Okay. Let's look at the red dragon. Oh, much better art. That black looks cool. Oh, let's see. There's the blue. I like the 3rd edition dragon art, generally speaking. Kind of a fan. Like the dragons, got a lot of the huge figures. Got the big red. Oh, there's the red. There he is. Okay, now we're talking about a bit of a hoss. Homie's got 660 hit points. That's average. So,
Yeah, you would max him out.
He could have 880.
45 armor class?
Yeah. Plus 40 to hit. Plus 73 to grapple. 24 D10. Yeah, he's rolling to 38, a 40 saving throw on his breath weapon. And he's a magic user, mother. I mean, no doubt. And there's some of his stuff, man. Homie's looking pretty boss. He's a CR26, though. Your 5 17th level characters might be in for a real fight.
You'll get some. If you play it right, probably kill a character around.
Here's what I hate. Look at this. DR20 magic. How stupid is that?
Stupid.
That's the dumbest kind of resistance there is. Why would you? Yeah. Mr. Boban says, imagine rolling 24d4. Yeah. I agree with you, Killraven. Was always disappointed how worthless SR was, for sure.
I would just make that DR20.
Yeah.
20 dash.
20 dash, I agree. Sorry, they get 20 off. You better make it count. Dragon, yeah, because that's you have to do, but as written, not terribly impressive. I did think that now I did a comparison. So when we get to the white dragon here, there's some of the stats. 36d12 plus what? Go ahead.
12d6 for his freaking breath weapon.
Yeah, that's weak sauce. Which is that's a lot like the 1st edition, 2nd edition, and OD&D breath weapon damage. But he did have 522 hit points. His armor class is what? I'm missing the AC.
45. Well, that's attack. 37. No, that's strength.
Let's see. AC is down here in another chart. There it is. 41. That's his AC. Not bad. But so 41 AC, 522 hit points. Breath weapon DC is 36. He would be considered, let's see here. What's Homie's challenge rating? According to the rules, he is a 21. Yeah, 20th level party would kick his teeth in.
Yeah.
He sounds tougher than the other dragons, but he's really not. I don't think. Yes, I agree, Darth. Later, one Magic Bean who's going to good night. He said, yeah, but it was way easier in 3.5 to counter things. Yeah, it was. With the Draconomicon, I mean, I built a dragon out of the Draconomicon in epic level handbook to challenge a 30+ level party. Spent 4 hours on him, and he was a terror. But it was truly, what do they call it? Rocket tag. He got the jump on the party, killed everybody but like 2 people. The high level psionicist, my wife rewound time several rounds. They came back prepared. And even then, they were terrified because it was interesting. You were playing. What was that caster from Monty Cook's game called?
Magister.
The Magister. The dudes were. This was a crazy thing. He had them resistant, all this damage resistance to every type of damage but one. So I told Joe just roll randomly, and the dragon I rolled randomly because he had an energy admixture, which means he could change his breath weapon to any type. Joe rolled cold, and I rolled cold. So he was going to breathe cold by sheer luck. And they got the initiative. My wife cast an epic type of disintegration spell, and that dragon could make a save on a 2 or higher. I rolled a 1. And that was it. So the big preparation was like, I mean, the party was happy. They literally clapped at the table. I mean, it had completely murdered you guys, and you guys were powerful. You couldn't believe it. But I spent 4 hours statting that thing up. So it took work to make dragons really challenging. I think comparatively,
what it is it's when they're solitary creatures.
Yeah.
And all the PCs are attacking it. At high level, it's really hard for any singular monster to take, as written, to take 5, 6, 7 PCs all attacking it.
Yeah. Action economy is a thing. I think that's where 5e has some good ideas. Yes, Kill Raven. Epic 3.5 prep time was important and was tiresome.
Yeah, because you really did have to prep everything.
You did. If you didn't, you couldn't. I mean, unless you're just going to fake it, and then things got troublesome.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. All right, let's bounce out of 3.5. Joe, it is almost 9:30, but I think we should try to get through 4e and 5e.
Nope. Yeah, it's almost 9:30. Yeah, well, that won't be long because we didn't play. I didn't play much 4e.
No, 4e is very little. So 4e, I don't even know if I'm going to put it up. I might. I probably should. Just to make. I took some time to read this a little bit. Honestly, there's parts of 4e that seemed okay. There's some good ideas there, but not terribly impressed with their setup here. So the dragon description is barely 1 page, dude. I mean, look at this. In the monster manual, that is, I guess, the 1-page description of the dragons. A little bit more if you talk. No, they start talking about encounters. This is the description. So they talk a little bit about the types. They had chromatic, catastrophic, metallic, planar, and scourge dragons, whatever that is. I don't even know if I count this lore for chromatics. And they talk about dragon gods. So, but that was 4E's jam, right? The idea was not much talky talk on the lore. Let me just give you some stats that work.
Okay.
Here's the kicker. All I can get from this, there were 4 types of dragons. Young, stats for the young black. Adult black. Elder Elder Black, and Ancient Black. That was it. There was only 4. You had to read each entry. They had some different stats. If you look at the White Dragon, that art's nice. That's nice art.
Yeah.
The 4E book was pretty enough to look at. I will not knock it for its look. In fact, the dragons still looked a lot like 3rd edition dragons. Let me get to the red looks nice. Not bad.
Yeah.
Looks a little. He looks kind of kind though, doesn't he? Like a nice dude smiling.
Yeah.
But the white, so there's the white, looks all right, not great. But if we go to him, here's interesting. So they even describe it differently. He's a level 24 solo beast, brute. Well, I guess that means he's gargantuan, their own version of it. Look at those HPs. 1,145.
Oh. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot, but those that played 4th edition might talk differently. The breath weapon was kind of interesting. If you look, it was a closed, I think that 5 means 5 squares away blast. They would add 27 to hit reflex, but look at the damage. 8d6 plus 9.
That's not a lot.
It says secondary attack. He makes after his breath, he makes another attack against your fortitude. Your cold resistance can be negated. That's kind of tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say thinking from the perspective of an older school play, what if dragons, and a lot of dragons had that, where they could take away your resistance. So if you hit your fortitude, you would lose your resistances to cold. That could be dangerous.
Yeah, it could.
I don't know if this 8d9 is, or 8d6 plus 9 is good damage. Let's see, what is Halcyon saying? He played 4th. Dragons from Dragonlance Mortals, they are nasty. Yeah, I don't have that book, so I'm not sure. Killraven says 4E combat took ages, so yeah, the hit points are kind of up there. Okay. But I mean 1145.
I remember hearing PC damage. It sounded kind of like plink, plink, plink instead of.
But that was really 1st edition, right? My first level. We didn't play much 4th edition.
I did. Right, but I didn't hear anybody say it got different.
I think it gets higher damage. You get higher damage, but in terms of ratios, it takes forever. Everybody I know that's honest, they would say that 4th edition took. 3rd edition took a long time at mid levels and higher, and a real high level
for different reasons, though.
For different reasons, correct.
Yeah.
4th edition just seemed like it was a slow grind. According to people that played, not according to me. I never really significantly played it. And to be fair, the few times I played, I had a good time. But that was because of the players and nothing to do with the game. So an ancient white dragon in comparison would have 1145 hit points. He had recharge 5 or 6. So I believe that means when he breathes, if you roll a 5 or 6, he gets to breathe again the next round. He rolls that every round to see if he can breathe. When he gets bloodied, knocked to half hit points, his breath weapon automatically recharges. That's interesting. But it's hard to compare because your armor classes are different. They're kind of like defenses in 13th Age, 38 AC, 43 Fortitude, 37 Reflex, 38 Will. Very much like 13th Age. He seems pretty good. But Killraven said 4E got rid of Rocket Tag, but replaced it with a massive slug, I'm sure. Which kind of makes you wonder. Honestly, I can't compare 4E to other editions of D&D.
Yeah, I've never played it, so I don't know how it played out.
Yeah, if it's a drag, it's a drag. Everybody else.
The only thing 4E did for me is it made me go to sleep.
Yeah, saved me a lot of money. That's what 4E did. Until Pathfinder came out. Then I was burning through it left and right. Okay, the last one, 5th edition. They stuck with, strangely enough, let me get this presentation rolling. 5th edition stuck with 4 dragon categories. And look at this. Now I don't know about this. Dragons are innate spellcasters are in options. So you give them a few spells where they use their charisma. That's kind of weird that it's an optional rule. Darth Theik says 5e dragons are biatches. They're a little more than flying lizards that can breathe something on you. Yeah, 5th edition,
That's
always
disappointing.
kind of underwhelming in general. They give you some background sort of stuff, but I thought sticking with 4 categories was an oversimplification. Whatever. Fine if you want to do it. Art, Black Dragon looks cool.
I mean, I'm fine with you have some dragons that are just big beasts.
Yep.
But I'm also okay with other dragons having the magic, you know. But this, where they're all basically just big beasts, that's not really.
Well, there's more. They're a little more than that, but let me get to see the art's fine, but notice the art's pretty consistent. It's basically 3rd edition art. 3rd edition stayed true through this part of the book anyway. I know 5th edition has some different art, but that's kind of weak. That's a crappy green dragon.
That's like 5th edition. The 5th edition Player's Handbook had some decent art and some really like. Do you paid somebody to put this in the book? It is surprisingly bad.
Red Dragon, how did he look? He's okay.
Okay.
Let's see how Whitey looks. How is Whitey? No, that's pretty good. I kind of like that. He looks kind of evil.
Kind of undeadish.
Yeah. Jack the 71st set out 4th edition. Wise decision. Killraven gave it a shot, but dished it for Pathfinder. We did too. The shot we gave it was to read it and say, crap, we don't want this. So here's our Ancient White. They did have lair actions. That was the new thing. That's something dragons need. Dragons need to be able to do some really cool stuff, and the action economy is vital. So that might help, it might not. But just to summarize the stats,
they really only need those in this version of the game. You weren't looking for that kind of stuff in, say, 3rd, especially 3.5, or even 2nd edition. They were pretty tough, and the Rule Cyclopedia, they're tough all the way, just the way they are. You didn't need that crap. You only need that crap in here because otherwise they're weak.
There were Dragon Magazine articles that talked about lair actions back even in 1st and 2nd, giving them some cool ideas for using their lairs. I think I like it. I think the idea of dragons having some multiple actions could be cool. But you're right. You didn't need it. Killraven says the only thing they added for 5e dragons that was kind of cool was the lair actions. Yeah, I think it was kind of cool. Oh, well, Killraven's reading my mind. Nearly every creature in 5e is just a big ball of hit points. Correct. And dragons are no different. So here's your stats, just so we can compare. Look at that whopping 20 AC. Yes, I know. What's their thing? What's the thing? They
bounded accuracy.
Bounded accuracy. Yeah, okay, that's fine. 333 hit points. His breath weapon was recharge 5/6. I kind of like the recharge mechanic. 72 damage, con saving throw of 22. Probably fairly challenging for some people. Then
recharge isn't that much different from rolling a d4 in some of the earlier editions.
To do a wing attack, it cost you 2 actions. Wow. Okay, they can't just do their wing attacks. That's weird. Legendary resistance 3 times a day. If the dragon fails a saving throw, it can choose to succeed instead. Wow. I guess I don't mind that ability. It makes them cool, but that's kind of weak. You just make it.
Well, they need it. They don't have hardly any hit points, and our armor class sucks.
Yeah. That's how you're fighting
they
these.
Probably need that.
What's their CR suggested? 20? Oh, come on. 5 20th level, 5th level characters could probably destroy this thing with ease. I don't know. Never played that high. Never got past 10th level. I think of the dragons, this one's probably just as bad as, I don't know, maybe as bad as, is it as bad as, probably not as bad as 1st edition, but definitely not. I think 2nd edition wins. I think their dragons are the best.
Well, really, first edition they didn't really plan out, and to some degree, second edition. There was Monstrous Manual, the base monster manual for second edition.
First, they came out with the folder type.
The compendium.
Yeah, the Monsters Compendium.
The binders.
The binders. Then they made the books, but I don't think the stats changed. It just became easy to keep track
of. First edition, the dragons were fine for low and mid-level characters. They didn't really plan well. First edition did not plan well for high-level play.
Yeah. So
and third edition, similar, but to a lesser degree, I think.
Yeah, I think the most powerful dragons. Let's try to rank them. I would say clearly, second edition had the most powerful dragons. I think
it'd be interesting to compare them with the Rule Cyclopedia ones because they were good for that game.
Let's call it 1A and 1B, in my opinion. I'm fine. You can go. I would take 2E, especially because they had Reconomicon, the dragons seem tougher, and then Rule Cyclopedia. Right. After that, I'm leaning toward OD&D. The dragons were scarier in OD&D.
Probably.
Because their hit points didn't go down. And then probably third would probably be third edition. And then fourth, probably
first.
Maybe fifth edition. First, or I don't know.
Fifth edition's weaker than first.
I don't know.
Edition?
It's hard to rank. I would put first edition last.
It's definitely
I think first
last.
Edition,
as far as probably,
and then fourth or fifth, place them however you want. I don't know.
Yeah,
I agree, Arn, man. I think OD&D there's some elements of that game that's really fun. I mean, you have to make a lot of crap up, but whatever, dude. I agree, Darth. Controlling the action economy so much, I think hurts the DM. I think you have to let the DM look. Especially if I'm going to play if I play high level in any game from now on, where the game, like in third edition, in most D&D versions, where high level breaks down, I'm breaking the rules, dude. My monsters are doing whatever I tell them to do, and that's how it's going.
Yeah, the other thing is we tend to take the easy way out and having one big monster.
Yeah, I do like that.
But it's less powerful than having slightly less powerful multiple monsters.
And I think that's fine, but there are times I want you to, like when you're fighting a dragon, I want you to fight him. And I want the party to feel like, holy crap, this single thing is giving us the fight of our life. And so I'm not saying I would cheat at the table. I'm saying when I design that encounter, I would say the dragon can do this, this, and this. I mean, I'd probably give him multiple initiatives. I would. So he'd go, I would roll high, and then I would subtract 5 and subtract 5 again, and that's how he would go. What's up, Redshift?
Yeah, you're catching us at the end of our. Yeah, we're pushing a little over 2 hours. We're going to be ending here soon, but welcome.
Yeah, I think we need to probably cut this off of the description of the different editions of dragons, and we'll pick up talking about camp because people are giving a lot of good ideas on how they would handle dragons or use dragons. So I lean toward pushing that to. Why don't we push that to next time?
Sure.
What do you think? It was 2 hours, and we got a couple other things, so I will just rejigger this, and we'll come back and have a Visiting Dragons part 2 because it's going to need it, and we'll do a few other things. Joe and I are going to probably do is it's all cracked up to be type. Well, we're talking. We talked about doing a new sort of series. We may start that.
Yeah,
too. We'll see.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Dragon Magazine, the Best of Dragon, Volume 1 next week.
Yeah.
Just to see how it reads. Haven't looked at it in a long time. We're going to have some opinions about the format, most likely.
Probably.
Because it's early Dragon Magazine format, which is, lower production quality in comparison.
Yeah, which is probably a little unfair.
Right.
All right. Why don't we anything new on Big Geek Emporium? Anything we need to
we there were some bug fixes and some new I mentioned it early on. We can bundle, but it's not fully baked. And Physical products are also not fully baked. So.
Okay. And all I got to say about my adventure is David Gwill is helping me get that thing figured out. He has the maps. I got to send him kind of I want to add a little piece for the back cover. And I think it'll be ready to be done real soon. And I'll get it off to the printers and put it on Big Geek Emporium. All right.
That sounds great.
Big Geek Con is happening. Is Jack the 71st saying he's going to be at Big Geek Con? Is that what you're saying, Jack? Tell me that's true. That would be so boss.
Yeah. We only have 4 or 5 tickets sold. Hopefully he's one of them.
Hey, we have a Rumble rant.
We'll be buying it soon.
We have a Rumble rant by Death Dog, our boy, keeping it rolling. You see that?
What's that?
We have a Rumble rant by Death Dog.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Oh, yeah. $20 Rumble rant. Another great show, guys. Keep it up. Thank you, Death Dog.
Yeah, you're the man, dude. You are the man. So, yeah, Jack's 71st coming to Cabin Con. Iron Man's going to be there. Flaty's going to be there. All right. Do we have Martin says, do we have a count of total ticket sales? I think Joe said 4 or 5. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Rumble rant. Sweet.
Rumble rant.
And Joe's doing weird technical coolness. Can you answer that? Can you show where is there a way to show tell us?
Let me see if I can bring it up quickly. If not, they're going to have to wait.
Oh, they hate waiting. Like me, I hate waiting. Waiting is not my strength. Patience is not a virtue.
Baby. Let me see if I can find it right quick.
Yeah. Check it out. Give Joe a chance here before we bug out tonight. You guys have been really awesome. Thanks for commenting.
Do I have a window open? I don't think so.
Our man says, I will mention Big Geek Con to the guys in Ann Arbor. There are about 20 of us. Maybe that would be so fun if a couple of you guys could do it. Mute my Discord. Yes, I will, Mr. Boivan, because I'm dumb. I should have done that already. That's where I'm getting all those crazy messages.
Oh, that was you.
That was me. Sorry, Mr. Boivan. Dumb Randy. I was like, I didn't even think, are they hearing that bloop, bloop, bloop? That's so weird. My bad, dude. I'll do better in the future. So. Can't find nothing on it, Joe? Don't kill yourself.
Oh, crap. I'm dumb. I hit the log out button.
Okay.
Instead of the look at something useful button.
Have we ever spoken to Kevin Crawford? No. He is on the list, though. I need to talk to him. See if he would be interested in putting his stuff on Big Geek Emporium, but I doubt seriously because he's probably making a bundle on drive-through. Or are you asking me if Kevin Crawford would come to Big Geek Con? I need to talk to a couple of folks about that. We can't offer much in the way of perks. We could just say, hey, if you got some stuff, you could sell it at Big Geek Con. We couldn't afford to pay hotel and stuff and fly it out. We don't have that kind of cash. All right.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with the website.
All right, Joe, last you counted was 5 people had bought tickets?
It's either 4 or 5.
Okay. I'm expecting a flood soon. All my homies out there are our buddies. Please, if you want to go, buy tickets. We need to get this to our boy Trent and John Andrews. I don't know if either one of them listened to us. So, because I think Trent was talking about going. That'd be cool. All right, dude. What do you think?
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, he's got something. Hold on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 total so far. 5 tickets sold so far.
If we get enough people, I will put a game list out. If it happens, I will put it probably where we put it. Probably on Discord. Probably put it on Big Geek Emporium. Right? There'll be a link somewhere that'll tell you the games. I'm going to make an outline of timing. I'm thinking there's going to be 3 slots, Darth, on Friday and Saturday. And if you can, because we can only have the ballrooms, I think, until 9 or 10 at night. But there's no reason we couldn't go game in the people that are staying in the hotels couldn't go up there and game in the hotel rooms. I mean, I'm going to be there, so we'll do all that groovy stuff. People want to game at 9 or 10 o'clock at night till midnight or 1. I'm down. So,
yeah, it would be cool to have a couple of people in the hotel so that we can do that. Because once the convention hall closes, I mean, that's the way that conventions roll anyway. Except Cabin Con, where we can game all night in any of the locations, but we don't because we're old.
But I tell you what, I'm going to rest. I'm actually going to go stay Thursday night if I can convince my wife. We're going to stay Thursday and Friday and Saturday at the hotel when I'm done with school, and I'm going to kind of have all my stuff there, all the things we need to set up, and try to make this happen. So, which reminds me, after the podcast or after this show ends, we need to chat just for a minute, Joe.
Sure.
All right. Should we get on out of here, brother? What do you think?
Yes. Are you sure you don't have anything else to say?
I don't think so, but I want everybody to come to Big Geek Con. We'll have fun.
Big Geek Con.
Indeed.
All right. If you'd like to support our show, please like, subscribe, and share us where you're listening or watching or whatever other format you are consuming our show. Maybe you take it by mouth. I don't know how that would work.
Maybe you shoot it up. Biggest Geekus through the veins.
Maybe
man.
There's somewhere there's a Braille version where you're just using you're consuming Biggest Geekus by feel. I don't know how that works either, but I won't sell that one short. But share us where you are listening or consuming our show. We are in the socials over on Facebook and Twitter and MeWe, though I did not post our show this week on MeWe. I suck. You can support the show at PayPal, Streamlabs, Ko-Fi, Patreon, and just like today, we got ourselves another Rumble rant. So while we are live, you can always throw some of your ducats our way. And website is, of course, biggestgeekuspodcast.com. Head over to the Emporium, biggeekemporium.com, to look at some cool stuff for your game table. If you have any questions, the geeks at biggestgeekuspodcast.com.
And thanks to Death Dog 13 again. Dude, he's laying it out with the Rumble rants. He's a dude.
Yeah. Thank you very much, fella.
Yeah, we
really appreciate that.
Much.
All right. Is that all you got, fella?
That's all I got, homie.
All right. This is Joe.
And I'm Randy.
And remember, if you can't be big like us, then be geeks like us.